and welcome to our Mercer's housing Q&A. My name is Megan Steele. I'm a freshman this year, currently living in Legacy Hall, our newest res hall. I'm planning on double majoring in both marketing and Spanish. Some things I like to do is I love to travel. I love the Bears. I love orange. Oh, hey, shout out to Emily Harvey. Hey. Yeah, so I'm super excited to show you guys about our housing and answer a ton of questions. I'll just show you our lovely campus on this day. So blessed to be here. Awesome. So I'm actually now going to walk you to our Legacy Hall. Ooh, it's a little windy. Alright, so actually beautiful fountains. That's going to be one of our residence halls, Roberts. And Roberts Hall is going to be a community style, so we'll talk a little bit about that. If you guys have any more questions about it or anything like that, we'll love to answer that on the student panel. Also, feel free to comment. I'll be answering any questions that you guys need on this little walk and later when we're in the student panel. Hello, Chance Myers. Chance? Yep, Chance. I thought that was Chase for a second. That's okay. I hope you're doing all right. Hope you choose Mercer. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to comment. I'll give you a shout out. If you were here, I'd give you a high five. That's okay. Over here, we're gonna see one of my favorite statues on campus. This one being the first, Toby the Bear being the second. But there he is, live and in person, Jesse Mercer. If you guys don't know, Jesse Mercer was our founder of the university. Hey there, let's rub his head for some good luck. Yes, good luck. Natalie, hello! Hope you're doing all right. Oh, also, this is the administration building. We put it on every poster, but it's just so awesome. And this is a historic quad for those of you who have never actually been on campus before. Home to a lot of our CLA classes. I take Spanish there and math in there. Yeah, again, so if you guys are just now joining us, we're going to be having our housing Q&A, and we'll be answering that as soon as I actually get to the residence hall. Alright, so being a Mercer Bear, you have to wear orange. Just kidding. I just happen to wear orange. And you have to know bear puns, so I'm sure you'll hear plenty of those once you get here. But before this, I looked up a couple of jokes. One of them being, what do you call a bear that just got caught in a rainstorm? Please, someone comment the answer if you don't know. What do you call a bear that is caught in a rainstorm? A grizzly, not grizzly, a drizzly bear. A drizzly bear. There you go. Bear joke one. One for the day. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to keep on commenting, guys, and we'll answer any of your questions about housing. Cool. Awesome. So over here, is going to be Mary Aaron Porter. That's one of our housing options as well. There's going to be 3 dorms in there, one being community, the other one being suite style, and the other one being a community style. So if you guys are just interested in the different housing options, we'll be talking about that. This is our walk. Awesome. So this is our walk to Legacy. I take this to class. Take this walk every single day, going to the cafeteria and all that sort of stuff. Welcome, Drew Bloodworth. I hope you come to Mercer. It's seriously such a beautiful day right now. Oh, look at that. That's actually my roommate. Say hi to Emily.
Hi guys, go to Mercer, you'll love it.
Go Bears. Can I get a go Bears?
Go Bears!
There we go. Awesome. Okay, so when you guys come here, which I hope you do, you'll be given a bear card, which is your access into everything. You'll use it to get into the cafeteria, get into your building, and that sort of stuff. So as you can see, Legacy has this awesome thing here. Tap in to get in the building. Go Bears. Awesome. So this is a lobby. Elevator over there. The laundry room's up there. And we'll just keep on making our way. Again, if you guys are just now joining us, this is our housing Q&A, so we'd love to answer any questions you guys have about housing. Awesome. So I just tapped in to get into the hall. This is the hall with the orange. And you also have to do it to get into your room. So tap it like that. It'll let you in. All right, this is the residence hall.
Well, welcome to our Facebook Live, everybody. My name is Stephen Carafa, and I am an admissions counselor here at Mercer. And we're here, of course, to answer your questions about housing at Mercer. You've already met Megan, and I'm going to let Jordan introduce herself.
Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm a sophomore here at Mercer. I'm a religion major and an art minor. I currently live in Legacy Hall, 4th floor. I'm a resident assistant there. But previous to that, I lived in Mary Aaron Porter Hall in Porter Hall.
Awesome, and we already have a question from Mary, so say hi to Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Hey, and she wants to know, is there a cost for laundry?
Yeah, so actually new to this year, we're super excited. You can save your quarters because it is free laundry here.
Awesome. Where can you get your laundry done?
Okay, so like I showed you guys when we walked in Legacy there is the second floor, and that's where all your laundry is going to be done there. And then in the other residence hall, they have just kind of a laundry room on each floor. So you shouldn't have a problem having clean clothes. Yeah, also, and if you guys are just now coming back and checking in with us, this is our housing Q&A, and we would love to answer any questions that you guys have or about Mercer or about housing.
Perfect. So can you guys describe to me each residence hall?
Yeah, so right now what you guys just saw is Legacy Hall. It's our newest residence hall. It's community style and co-ed by floor. So we have 2 male floors and then we have 2 female floors. And so in community style, you'll have a room and you'll have you and your roommate in a room with a sink in your room. And then you'll have a community bathroom on the hall, which is usually located centrally. And in that bathroom, you're going to have a couple of sinks to use, as well as 5 or 6 stalls, bathroom stalls, and then 5 or 6 showering stalls. And then suite style, you have 2 people in a room conjoined by a bathroom, and then 2 people in another room. And you guys will be responsible for taking care of your bathroom. So if you are a person who doesn't like to clean their own bathroom, I definitely suggest to look into community style. But yeah, those are 2 different types.
Yeah, and I live in community and I love it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about that, but it's been super cool being able to meet girls, every day. It kind of pushes you outside, and they do cleaning service for you. So.
Okay. Awesome. We have another question from Victoria, and she wants to know, are freshmen allowed to live in the lofts?
Hey, Victoria. Thank you for your question. Freshmen aren't allowed to live in the lofts. They are reserved for upperclassmen.
Perfect. And then we have a question from Bobby Peacock. Say hey to Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, what's up?
And she wants to know, are the dorms air conditioned?
Yes, which is so good. They are air conditioned, and you actually have your own thermostat, so you can change the temperature to how you like. Yeah, and also if you guys are just now checking in with us, this is our housing Q&A. Please ask any questions, and we would love to answer them for you.
Okay, perfect. And so are there sinks in every room?
So you can find a sink in all of your community style bathrooms with the exception of Roberts Hall. But in suite style, you'll have that bathroom that you'll be sharing with your roommates. As we're community style, you'll just have a sink in your room.
Yeah, which is really nice. You can wash your face and hands and stuff. So.
Okay, awesome. And what are the rules for visitors? Are students allowed to have guests overnight?
Yeah, so about that, you are allowed to have guests I've had a friend from a college sleep over one time, but the only thing you have to do is let your RA know and then fill out a form just for that. There are going to be specific visiting hours for people of the opposite gender and other people that aren't on your residence hall or on your actual hall. So for example, people of the opposite gender won't be able to stay past midnight on the weekdays and then past 2 on the weekends.
Yeah, and we have a lot of questions coming in.
Awesome.
We have a question from Abby, and she's an only child, and she wants to know if you have any advice for an only child living in a shared room for the first time.
Hey, Abby.
Are you an only child?
No, okay, so I have an older sister, but she is 8 years older than me. So there was a season in our life where it kind of seemed like we were both only children. And I will just say, like, it definitely is a transition to learning because I had my own room, my own bathroom, and I never really had to share that space with anyone else. So it is a transition, but I would say the key to that is just communicating with your roommate and, you know, expressing, hey, I've never done this before, and just being considerate of their belongings, and they'll do the same for you.
Okay, so give a shout out to Natalie Joy.
Natalie Joy! She was my overnighter.
Oh yeah, Natalie wants to know, what is move-in day like?
Oh, moving day is awesome. It's a little chaotic because all the parents are stressing and crying because they have to leave their children. But no, it's really awesome. There's a bunch of students here that actually will help you move in your stuff. So I remember moving day, a lot of the students here were just really helpful, all wearing orange, being supportive, and respectful of the parents and all that stuff. But yeah, it takes about half a day to do, and then usually have all these fun activities planned at the end of the day for your move-in.
And tip for opening day and moving in, of course, you'll want to put your name on everything and your room number so that those volunteers get your stuff to the right place.
Okay, awesome. And so, how do I find a roommate? Where would I go if I wanted to find somebody to live with?
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that you guys are actually already part of the Mercer Facebook group, but definitely people in there typically post a little bio about themselves, so you can connect that way. Or you can completely do random assign. I did random assign and it worked out with my roommate. She's now on the Atlanta campus, so unfortunately we don't get to room together anymore. But that's definitely options, as well as in the Facebook group for me personally. They were posting about other like group chats and other groups I could be a part of to get to know other girls.
Awesome. And we have a question from Tori Gaylord. So say hey to Tori.
Hey, Tori.
Yeah, and Tori has a question about cost and so about the different costs for apartments and other residence halls on campus. So where should she go to find out information on that?
Absolutely. So you'll want to visit our Residence Life webpage to find out the different costs between residence halls, between both your traditional apartments, and then if you're interested in lofts, those are going to be on a separate website as well. And we'll post that link for you in the comment section for the video.
Awesome. And we have a question from Abby. We love all these questions. Hey to Abby. And she wants to know, what do you recommend bringing to your dorm? She wants to know if a printer is useful to have.
Yeah, so for me, I brought a printer and it's been really nice. For those who don't use it, people have borrowed our printer before. Some things that I recommend that you bring for posting things, for putting stuff up on your walls. You're not allowed to drill holes or anything like that. So my biggest recommendation is to bring those command strips, and so you don't like tear up the paint.
Awesome. And we have a question from Claudia, and she wants to know, is there anything that you didn't realize you wanted or needed to bring until later, like a broom, a microwave, etc.?
Definitely. So in Porter Hall we have carpets, and I really wish I would have brought my vacuum. Luckily for me, my roommate went out and got one day after I had like spilled so much crumbs on the floor. It was ridiculous. But in Legacy, since we have those like tile-like floors, I would definitely recommend a broom, and then like a sweeper swiffer or something of that sort.
Yeah. Also, anything just to personalize your room. Yeah. That's definitely a way to, if you have a difficult time transitioning, make it feel more like home. Our room has Christmas lights on it, and it's a really homey feel. So.
Okay, and we also have another question. From Haley, she wants to know, when do you know you've been assigned to a residence hall of your choosing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so our residence hall process and selecting your room is a little bit different than what you may find elsewhere. At Mercer, we allow you to self-select your residence hall and room. So starting in July, after you filled out your housing contract starting now and this month, you will go through the self-selection process the first full week of July. And this is where you go and you actually get to select your room in residence hall just like you select an airline seat. So it's a really awesome process to go through, and you're able to also pair with your roommates on that system as well.
Perfect. And somebody wants to know, Bobby wants to know about blinds or curtains. I guess she means like she should bring something to block out the light in her window, or
Yeah, so about the thing I mentioned earlier, how you're not allowed to drill holes or anything, you are allowed to bring curtains if you want. I found that I don't really need them because we do have just the blinds that you can use. But if you do want to bring in a curtain, then you can get one of those tension rods and hang them up that way. So, yeah.
Great. And another question is, how did you guys find your roommate? Did you find on the Bearstand page or elsewhere?
Yeah, you can go first.
So I started out with posting like a little bio about me in the Bearstand Facebook page, and I connected with a few people there, as well as they led me to some other group chats where I could get to know girls and things like that to possibly room with. But I ultimately decided to go with just random assign.
Yeah, and for me, I was also part of the Bearstand page, so I put some by, kind of like online dating, just talking about myself, and my roommate commented on it, said, hey, we have a lot of stuff in common, do you want to meet up sometime? And we were actually going to Make It Mercer, which this year it's going to be April 8th, so come to that if you guys are definitely going to Make It Mercer. But I met her at Make It Mercer. She was super sweet. We decided to room together, and we even went on a cute IKEA trip and picked out some matching stuff. So
Great. And so Victoria wants to know, which halls do you live on and what do you like about them?
yeah, so I said it earlier. If you guys, again, if you're just now tuning in, this is our housing Q&A. But I mentioned in the beginning, I actually do live in this building on the 4th floor. So some things I like about it, I do love the fact that it's community style, like I said, where you kind of get to go outside and meet other girls. I also love the fact that there are little study rooms. So if my roommate's sleeping, then I can go outside and use that as a resource.
Yeah, so Megan shared about Legacy, so I'll share about my experience in Porter because I currently live in Legacy now, but I agree with everything Megan said. So things I liked about Porter Hall, I did like having my own bathroom. The only point of contention was when it came time to like clean or like restock the toilet paper, we had to figure that system out. But I just really liked Porter because I really connected with my RA there as well as my GHD and just made some lasting lifelong friendships there, and I would not trade living in Porter for anything.
Okay, awesome. And Bobby has another question. She wants to know, is there a height limit for the beds and risers?
Yeah, so you guys can have bed risers that are made specifically for beds. You can't loft your bed, so you can't have it like borderline touching the ceiling. But honestly, I bought those, but I didn't really need them because Mercer had our beds are already adjustable. So when my bed is on the highest rung, I'm 5'6" and I have to like jump onto my bed or use a stool. So if you really feel like you want bed risers, then you can do that. But I definitely suggest like coming here checking it out first because they get pretty high.
Yeah, and also if you guys are just now checking in with us, welcome. This is our housing Q&A, and we are so glad that you're here. So feel free to comment. We'll give you a shout out. We'll answer any of your questions.
Okay, and Tori wants to know, is there any storage in the suite bathrooms for cleaning supplies?
In the suite bathrooms. So in suite style, you're responsible for supplying your own toiletry needs in the bathroom, I guess. So in Porter, there's one like windowsill that is like wide enough for you to like put stuff. So we got like a little place where we can all put our toothbrushes, our toothpaste, and it sat right there. And there is room, like it's the typical size of a shower, so you can like put your shampoo and your things like that. But just out of consideration for each other, we decided like that we wouldn't really keep our stuff in there. But there's definitely room for like a rack if you want to put it behind the toilet or something like that.
Okay, great. And so Mary has a question. Give a shout out to Mary.
Hey Mary, welcome.
Okay, she wants to know, what is it like being in bunked beds?
No, I've actually never experienced bunk beds. Again, we talked about the lofting and how I guess you can't loft your beds where you can put a futon under it. But I and me and my roommate just decided that it'd be better just to kind of have our own space. And with having your own space, we lifted our beds high enough that we could put a bunch of storage underneath it. So that was just my experience.
I have not bunked my beds, but I will say if you're concerned about being on the top rung, like bed rails are available. So when you move in, you just mention that to your RA, like, hey, I want bed rails, or we want to bunk our beds, and we'll help you do that and make sure it's very secure and things like that.
Okay, great. And somebody wants to know, Claudia wants to know, not Claudia, Abby wants to know, when we come to Make It Mercer, if they can see a room inside Legacy, instead of just seeing the photos from our blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you come to Make It Mercer, we will have residence hall tours for you, and so you'll get to kind of experience what it looks like to live in Legacy or any of our other residence halls, such as Mary Aaron Porter, Boone, and Dowell, and Plunkett. And I believe Roberts will should also be available that day. So get an idea of what it is to live on campus, and maybe estimate some of the things that you need to bring and prepare for over the summer.
Okay, Claudia has another question. She wants to know, is the desk the only place to put something like a TV on it?
No. So in each residence halls, you'll have 2 dresser drawers. And what I did in my room is I stacked my dresser drawers. And so it looks like a regular shelf with 4 drawers, and I put my TV on top of that. So my desk doesn't have my TV on it, and I can use it for schoolwork as well. And then I just have a little compact corner for mine.
Good questions. Yeah, if you guys are just now checking in again, welcome. This is our housing Q&A, and we are so excited that you decided to join us. So feel free to comment. We'll answer any of your questions that you have and give you shout-outs too if you want.
So are there any activities that will help me get to know people in my hall better?
Yeah, so I told y'all I'm an RA, that's my job. I plan programs and things like that so that you get to come out of your room and get to know your floor mates and just different little programs like that to get to know Mercer as well as your hallmates. It's required, so.
Yeah.
That's
What
we're
are some
here for.
examples of those activities that you've done?
Yeah, so one of the last activity I did was BYOB, which stands for Bring Your Own Bowl. And so we just hung out, and I got 2 big tubs of ice cream. And hindsight, don't let your residents eat 2 tubs of ice cream. It was not a good idea, but we had a good time. We got to talk about how our semester was going and just hang out and catch up and things like that you don't always get to do.
Yeah, we had one too. It was really cool where you kind of bring your own cup, and they teach you how to make microwavable meals. You can make microwavable cake and macaroni and all those cool stuff. So that was fun with my RA too.
And we have a question from Casey, and so maybe you can answer this, Jordan. She wants to know about what are other options besides Legacy that people can live in and enjoy?
Yeah, so the other residence halls you can live in: Plunkett, Legacy, Mary Aaron Porter, and that is comprised of 3 residence halls, which is Porter, Boone, and Dowell. And those are definitely great options. I lived in MEP my first year, and I highly recommend it. I met some of my greatest friends in Boone. They all lived in Boone on the same floor. So don't knock them until you see them, because they're great experiences, and I would live in MEP all over again if I had the option.
Perfect. And so, do any of the residence halls allow pets? If so, what kind of pets?
Yeah, so we are actually not allowed to have big mammals like dogs or cats. You gotta leave those at home, sorry. But you are allowed to have a fish if you want, and you can bring that, but the tank can't be more than 10 gallons, so keep it small.
And so how would I get my mail on campus?
Yeah, so we have our mail services, which is found in Bare Necessities. We like puns here. And it's really great about our mail system because you get 1 combination, 1 box for all 4 years at Mercer. So you won't be getting something new every year. And so you can give that same number out to everyone, and it's not going to change on you or anything like that.
Yeah, and also for that, it's going to be strictly kind of mail. But if you do have a bigger box, like your mom sends you a care package or whatever, then you can go to auxiliary services, which will be behind the med school, which you can go and pick that up.
Great. We have a question from Samantha. Give her a shout out.
Hello, Samantha.
Okay, and she wants to know, do you recommend renting or buying a mini fridge? And how much is it to rent a fridge from Mercer?
Yeah, so you can do either. My first year, I just used my roommate's fridge, so I didn't have to buy one or rent one. But either one is great options, but as a freshman, you're required to have an unlimited meal plan. So you'd probably be surprised that you really don't need it as much as you might think. If you really do want one, coordinate with your roommates so you guys don't end up with like 2 of everything, because you totally don't need that. But both options are are good choices, and you can find the prices for renting a microwave and a fridge on the auxiliary services website.
So after freshman year, what are my housing options?
So you have a lot of options. You can live in any phases of the loft. You can live in the the Adams Windshape apartments, Mercer Hall, Shorter Hall, or Sherwood Hall. And all of those are, with the exception of Adams Windshape, are suite style, so you won't have any community style experiences. But Adams Windshape, our apartments, will have a kitchen. That's the only difference.
Great. And what are the quiet hours, and can you list those off the top of your head?
Yeah, of course. So for the quiet hours, we mentioned it earlier, but they are going to be, it has to be quiet at 10 o'clock at night till morning time, and that's just going to be on a regular basis, come every weekday. But great thing, during our finals, we actually have 24-hour quiet hours, so there's a guarantee that your hall is going to be completely silent, so you can study and you can sleep and nap and do all that sort of stuff, but it's going to be 10 o'clock at night. And also, if you guys are just now tuning in, welcome, go Bears. This is our housing Q&A, and we are super excited you're here and would love to answer any questions that you guys have for us.
Okay, and so what are some other necessities that people should pack?
Let's see. Again, I talked about personalizing stuff. We have a rug in our res hall. We have these kind of hardwood floors, and it's a little cold on your feet, so that's what I recommend. Definitely not necessary, but that's something that I thought was a great personal touch.
I'd also add like a towel or a robe or something that, like Velcro shut or something for the girls specifically, because if you're living in community style, it's not always fun to walk down the hallway in your towel. But even if you're living in suite style, you're going to have a roommate, and so you're still going to feel that same experience where you can't just hog the bathroom because someone might have to go or something, and you might have to get dressed in your room, and so.
Yeah, also with that, another big recommendation is having those shower caddies.
Yes.
For community style, if you do have to just kind of walk across the hall, and it's a lot easier to have a shower caddy instead of carrying, all the stuff that us girls need, shampoo, conditioner, like scrubs, so.
Guys too.
Oh yeah, guys too, so all that stuff, to bring to your shower.
Okay, we have a question. Are crock pots or slow cookers allowed in the residence halls?
Yeah, unfortunately they're not. You can't have open flames, you can't have George Foreman grills or crock pots or anything that's going to generate a lot of heat like that. Something that you can do for, I guess, scent-wise, you can have Febreze cans or stuff like that, the little oil diffusers with the sticks in them. You can have those as well. But unfortunately, you're not allowed to have a crock pot. But again, as a freshman, you're going to have an unlimited meal plan, so you can swipe in the caf as many times as you want. So.
Okay. We have another question. Do you have to live on campus your freshman year?
Yeah, so as a freshman, you are required, we have a 3-year housing requirement, so you are required to live on campus, with the exception of if you live within a certain perimeter from Mercer. And you can find more information about that from your admissions counselor, or I'm sure it's on our website, and so that's the only exception to the rule. But it's totally a great experience, so don't look at it as like I have to live on campus, because you'll really make some great connections.
Yeah, I know some people that live in Macon and actually chose to just live on campus for the experience. So.
And Mary has a question, so give a shout out to Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Okay, and she wants to know, what does each room have in it already on move-in day?
So each room, regardless of if it's suite style or community style, you're going to find a bed, a closet space, a desk and a chair, as well as dresser drawers for like clothing and things like that.
Perfect. And Steven, this may be a question for you. Or no, Steven.
Steven.
We want to know what's the difference between the housing contract and the self-assignment process?
Absolutely. So the housing contract gets your process started. That's what's going to give you what's called a roommate PIN number. And you're going to need that PIN number in order to go in and self-select your housing in July. And so the housing contract basically gets all of your personal information gives you that roommate PIN number, and then in July you're going to get an email from Residence Life that allows you to go in and self-select your housing. You'll use that roommate PIN number, as well as if you found somebody to room with, they're going to need to give you their roommate PIN number. And that's how you pair together with that self-selection.
Yeah, and welcome guys for you who've just started tuning into us. This is our Mercer Housing Q&A. So welcome, we are so excited that you're here and would love to answer any questions that you guys have for us.
Is there a list I can find of things to bring?
Yeah, so you can find that on our Residence Life website, and there'll be a link to that in the description or the comment section.
In addition, you probably got a really great orange-looking pamphlet called "This is How Bears Enroll," and there is a list of things to bring to campus in that as well.
Okay, awesome. If you guys can just talk about your freshman year and any memories that you have from living in the residence hall, and want to share that with people.
I'll definitely say, I mentioned earlier that I met some of my greatest friends in my residence hall. They all lived on Boone 3rd. We still call ourselves Boone 3rd to this day. And it was just a great experience where everybody moved in and was like, okay, I'm just going to walk around and say hey to everyone. And little did we know that we'd have such great connection where we would pull all-nighters, don't suggest it, playing like karaoke and things like that and card games. But it's just bloomed from like a beautiful relationship, and that was community style residence hall, and it was just a great experience, and they're awesome.
Yeah, so for me, I don't know if this is a unique case or not, but again, I definitely utilized the Barretden's 2020 page for me, and with that, a couple of more girls commented on my post than just my roommate, and we started a group message, and it was just the four of us. So we got really close and actually had a sleepover over the summer in my roommate's house. And so we decided, for housing that we were going to live in the same hall, so we immediately come into school knowing people. So they actually lived 2 rooms down from us, and we're always just hanging out in each other's rooms. So that's kind of a unique, fun thing that I did my freshman year. So.
And Allie wants to know, we have a question. She wants to know if you can put tacks on the wall, or can you only put command strips on the wall?
Yeah, you're not allowed to put tacks. There is going to be a small fee at the end of the year if there's paint stripped off or holes in the walls, just so they can repair that. But yeah, command strips are going to be the best bet for you guys.
Okay, and we just got a couple of questions coming in. Gabrielle wants to know, what does community style living mean? What's it like living in a dorm like that?
Yeah, so community style is where you will have a room and a roommate, and then you'll have a community bathroom, which is usually centrally located on the hall. And a community bathroom is just going to be a giant bathroom with like 6 or 7 shower stalls, a couple of bathroom stalls, and a couple of sinks, rather than having a personal restroom connected to your room. It's really great for building community because you always have to go in and out of your room, so you'll run into people maybe you didn't know before. So it's definitely a unique experience, and I encourage you to look into it.
Yeah. And Sydney wants to know, are there kitchens in the dorm or in the residence halls?
So hey Sydney, as freshmen, you're not going to have a lot of access to a kitchen, but luckily Legacy, it was built with a kitchen in it. And so what you can do is, if you're a resident here, you can request to kind of cook and 24 hours beforehand and be able to use the kitchen here. So that's an exciting experience.
And Allie also wants to know, can you rearrange your room to suit your needs, or basically set it up any way you want?
Yeah, definitely. You can do just about any rearranging you want, with aside from you can't move the sink or closets legally. But you can move the beds around, you can lower them, you can raise them, move your desk around, do whatever you need to make it comfortable and feel like home.
Yeah, and don't feel like you just have to do that move-in day. We kind of just stuck with the layout that it was move-in day, but a couple months into the year we decided, you know what, maybe it'd be more space if we move my bed to this side or this corner, and so you have that freedom throughout the year to change it if you want to.
Yeah. And so what is the parking situation like for each of the residence halls?
So super exciting, here at Mercer we actually are given free parking, so that's a plus. For all of the residence halls, there is going to be kind of parking right behind where you're living, and there's always going to be spots. You won't be able to, or you won't have to park in the street or anything. So
yeah, great. And Jordan, what is an RA? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
Yeah, so as an RA, that stands for resident assistant. And so it's going to be an upperclassman student. In a freshman residence hall, you'll have an upperclassman student that lives on your hall. And basically our job is to make sure you're okay, make sure you're safe, and just helping you walk through that transition from home to college life, as well as we plan programs for you to get connected with other people on your hall so you don't ever feel like you're alone or anything like that, and make sure like safety requirements are being met and just overall your well-being, so you know you have someone on your hall that you can connect with.
Okay, we have a question coming in, and she said, Janny, I think it is, says, I've seen some college students bring in mini fridges. Would you recommend putting one in your room, or is there one in the building?
Yeah, so from my personal experience, I have an older brother, and so I just used his mini fridge. But surprisingly, I haven't used it as much as I thought, because as a freshman, you are given an unlimited meal plan. So for that, I usually, if I end up going downtown to a restaurant or something, I bring takeout and put it in there. But yeah, you are allowed to bring that if you want, as well as a microwave. And if you live far away or don't have one, you can utilize our services here by just renting one or purchasing one through Mercer on move-in day.
So thank you so much for joining us for our Facebook Live on housing this evening. We are so excited to share answers to your questions about housing and residence life here. Continue to get more information with us at mercerbound.blog, as well as we'll still be answering questions to your comments below the video.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Go
you.
Bears!
Bye.